Do you know a lot about Jeffrey Dahmer? Like,
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Jeffrey Dahmer is?
My problem is I always thought that the Donner Party...
This video, I wanted to talk about some of the recent dramatizations and recreations of true crimes that have just been regurgitated as a form of glossy entertainment, totally removing any of the substantive, investigative, or educational value that true crime can offer when done ethically. Errol Lindsay. Does that name ring a bell? What about Jeffrey Dahmer? Jeffrey Dahmer is a name you're no doubt familiar with from the literally billions of documentaries that have debuted on various streaming services over the past decade. We've got Raising Jeffrey Dahmer from 2006, The Jeffrey Dahmer Files, 2012, Dahmer on Dahmer from 2017, and Fresh Meat from 2021. Errol Lindsay is one of Jeffrey Dahmer's 17 victims, but he didn't eat anyone, so he doesn't get to be a pop culture phenomenon. Those documentaries, by the way, are about a serial killer whose crimes have been thoroughly adjudicated. There's nothing left that we need to know about Jeffrey Dahmer, nothing more that we're going to learn about him as a person since he was bludgeoned to death by another inmate in 1994 after having been found guilty. I know, it's a lot. Conversations with a Killer, the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes, is debuting, I believe, later this month, weeks since Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer Story. It's just not enough. Is there really nothing else to talk about if they made every other documentary that needs to be made? In this latest Netflix production, an actress portrays Errol Lindsay's sister, Rita Isbell, and recreates a terrible moment where she gives her victim's impact statement to the court.
My name is Rita Isbell, and I'm the oldest sister of Errol Lindsay. Whatever your name is, Satan, I'm mad. This is how you act when you are out of control.
This moment was created without her permission and without even notifying her that it was going to happen. Isbell had this to say to Insider. When I saw some of the show, it bothered me, especially when I saw myself. When I saw my name come across the screen and this lady saying verbatim exactly what I said. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought it was me. Her hair was like mine, she had on the same clothes. That's why it felt like reliving it all over again. It brought back all the emotions I was feeling back then. I was never contacted about the show. I feel like Netflix should have asked if we mind or how we felt about making it. They didn't ask me anything. They just did it. Eric Perry, another one of Errol Lindsay's cousins, published a thread on Twitter calling out Netflix's brutal treatment of Dahmer's victims' family members. Eric Perry also shared this stupid message he got from someone on Twitter saying, "Please let your family know that I know it hurts to relive this awful nightmare, but please look at this as the Isabel family is resilient and heroes. Your loved one didn't die in vain. My kids are watching this, me and my husbands are watching this, and it's a lot we didn't know. This day and age, kids need to know what kind of people are out in this world." And this is the whole thing. This tragedy doesn't exist for you. Your appreciation of their relatives' brutal murder as a cautionary tale is not a counterpoint to what they're saying, which is that this didn't need to be dramatized, and if it was going to be dramatized, why could they have not let us know or consulted with us or gotten our permission? The cautionary tale aspect exists outside of the dramatization. In the true crime genre, there is some debate over whether we're just consuming other people's horrific tragedies as entertainment. With these dramatizations, all doubt is removed. They are purely for us to consume and pass the time with. We're not really getting any insights, and most of them are not perfectly factual. A lot of them exaggerate. They may leave details out because they don't serve the script, or they may mush two characters into one because that makes for more efficient storytelling. Gabby Petito's Lifetime movie debuted on October 1st because of course it did.
I know you don't see it, but like most of the time he's like a really great guy.
So I was thinking that we hit the road and we just see what happens.
Lifetime is known for its quick turnarounds of these kinds of things. I could make a whole video just about Lifetime true crime movies.
They must have a constant office ready to go for the next crisis or the next tragedy, and like, okay, throw together a little film crew, let's make the recreate.
Yeah. So her body was discovered September of 2021, so that's a little over a year ago. Plenty of time. Her family released a statement that read, "We thought our followers should know that the Lifetime movie on Gabby Petito has no connection to the Petito family, nor did they give their approval. Lifetime took it upon themselves to make the movie." Something that I wondered about with these stories is I know that when you're making a movie about a public figure, you have to often get the life rights for their story. Having looked into it, I think what's going on with these true crime movies is that everything that they're covering is part of the public domain. Like they're relying on court transcripts or videos from trials. And since it's public record, they don't have to get anybody's permission. But just because they don't have to legally doesn't mean that they shouldn't. The Thing About Pam came out on Hulu earlier this year. Once again, a dramatization that focuses pretty heavily on the murderer because she is an interesting psychopath. Hupp allegedly killed her friend, Betsy Faria, for insurance money. Investigators honed in on Betsy's husband, Russ Faria, as a main suspect, and when he went to trial, Pamela Hupp testified against him. Russ was convicted and went on to serve 4 years in prison before his conviction was overturned, even though he had a pretty strong alibi. Betsy's daughter, Mariah Day, was consulted about the film, and she got to meet with the actress who was going to portray her, but later said that the film's style and tone totally shocked her.
The miniseries centers around the murder of Betsy Faria and the woman now awaiting trial for her death, Pam Hupp. Today, Betsy Faria's daughter talked with our Sarah Maki about her concerns with the show. Sarah.
Yeah, Mariah Day says she talked to the actress who plays her, interviewed with producers for the show, but when the previews came out, the style of it all caught her off guard.
It just brings back all those feelings and all that trauma.
Betsy Faria's daughter, Mariah Day, says she is not ready to watch the new series about her mother's murder, a case for which her stepdad, Russ Faria, was wrongfully convicted first before suspicions turned to friend Pam Hupp after she was accused of killing another man, Louis Gumpenberger.
People tend to forget about the victims that were involved because Pam Hupp's name is everywhere. But I hope they show light that my mom was more than her death story.
Day says she expected the project to be a more serious docu-series, but the style of the preview with bright colors, upbeat music caught her off guard.
Kind of triggering. Felt like they're kind of making a mockery of everything that happened.
That's how come Mariah moved in with Betsy's mom.
Mariah is not just mentioned in the movie. Actress Gideon Allen portrays her.
This is still her everyday life. She's living in it.
The two women met ahead of filming, and Adlon says she tried to be respectful of the story and the people involved.
What she went through is extreme, and I could never imagine.
It's this cutesy, kind of funny movie where Renee Zellweger plays Pamela Hupp to kind of comedic effect. Like she's this buffoon.
Tell me about Pam. She's a nice lady.
Did she have that limp before?
No. No, she did not.
She also probably killed her mom. I was gonna say that. She's not someone who deserves this doopy-doopy-doopy-doo treatment that they gave her in the movie. Mariah Day told BuzzFeed, "I mean, my mom's alleged killer is the main character. There's parts of it where she's consoling me, and that never happened in real life. It's just really cringy to watch." And that's the thing when these dramatizations, when they just make things up because it fills in the gaps better. I also wanted to mention a movie called The Playground that's being made in China that I don't believe, as far as I could tell, doesn't have a release date yet. Deng Xiping was a school administrator who supposedly uncovered some shady business practices by a construction contractor. And the contractor then murdered him and hid the body, and it wasn't discovered for 16 years. The family of the victim, Deng Xiping, claimed that they were never approached about the film. According to an article in The Sixth Tone, the family's attorney, Zhao Chang-Zhu, said after the release of the movie's poster earlier this month, the victim's wife was traumatized to discover her husband's story had been turned into a script for a commercial movie and had to seek psychological counseling. Even if you're not asking the family to participate in the creation of the movie, I don't understand not giving them a heads up at least. Are they afraid that if they have some notice that they'll then be able to voice objections?
They probably never think about it at all.
He's a movie industry insider.
The sad thing about those guys is they never think about that stuff at all because that's not what their job is.
It's not the bottom line.
And they only do what their job is. And, you know, just making the movie is a lot of work, so they focus on that. And it's no one's job. It's no department's job to look into, like, if this is even correct to do.
Yeah.
That doesn't factor into their thinking at all.
Yuck. Sarah Turney, who's a podcaster and an advocate for ethical true crime, published a tweet recently saying, "It's almost like people are sick of sensational true crime content that largely serves to make its creators rich no matter the cost to those at the root of the stories." I wanted to read one of the replies to this tweet because I think it's a good representation of the kind of pushback that people get when they say, we shouldn't be making stories about true crime without victims' families' consent. While I agree with you to an extent, speaking for myself, I am fascinated with true crime because criminal psychology just grips me. And then this next lady responded, "This is entertainment, not education. You can learn about real cases to satisfy your interest in criminology without supporting and consuming sensationalized movies made about well-known cases in which an abundance of information already exists for the masses." Couldn't have said it better myself. There are families who are begging for platforms like Netflix and Hulu to talk about their family's case because it's unsolved, because they believe that there's been some gross injustice carried out. Netflix isn't interested in uncovering these stories. They're interested in the bottom line. And Dahmer already has a built-in audience of people who are just always going to be like, "Oh my gosh, that guy ate people. This is definitely worth 8 hours of my life." If we watch these dramatizations, we're telling Netflix, we don't care who you hurt in the process of making these things. It really is ghoulish. Almost like a person who would eat someone. That's right, I'm saying that if you're a fan of Dahmer dramatizations, you're practically a cannibal. Are you frightened by how far I've gone?
Yeah.
Okay. At what point do we go from curious onlookers to fans? And there are fans of serial killers. Serial killer memorabilia is a huge industry, and Jeffrey Dahmer's glasses just sold for $150,000.
Ew.
Jeffrey Dahmer, of course, is a serial killer who made these glasses, the glasses everyone associates with serial killers. What are you gonna do? Wear them around your house like...
I'm gonna eat people and wear the glasses. Go, ha ha ha. I'm into this. Like, I'm his biggest fan. Like, who else would spend that much money on that? Sick millionaires.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, please subscribe if you'd like to see more. I wanted to put out a video about true crime documentaries that have met with objections from family members. I was going to talk about Serial and Dead Asleep. So if there are any others that you think I should mention, it'd be great if you could comment those below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Until then, watch something wholesome.